13 जनवरी 2026 को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में दो जजों की पीठ के सामने एक मामला आता है और ये मामला जो है वो प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट के सेक्शन 17A से जुड़ा हुआ था। आपको बता दें सेक्शन 17A जो है वो प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट की धारा में 2018 से जुड़ा गया था। अब इसको लेकर दोनों जजों की अलग अलग राय सामने आई, स्प्लिट वर्डिक्ट आए। दो जज जो बीवी नागरत्ना और के एस विश्वनाथन की पीठ जो है वो इस फैसले पर सुनवाई कर रही थी। इसके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी पर मामले पे सुनवाई चल रही थी। बीवी नागरत्ना का ये कहना था कि सेक्शन 17A जो है वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली इनवैलिड है। वहीं विश्वनाथन का ये मानना था कि ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली जो है वैलिड है। अब इस पूरे मामले में बातचीत करने के लिए और ये जानने के लिए आखिर सेक्शन 17A है क्या, इसके इम्प्लीकेशंस क्या हैं और क्यों ये सुनवाई जो है वो इतनी महत्वपूर्ण है, वो इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है, हम इस वक्त मौजूद हैं दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के लॉ फैकल्टी में और हमारे साथ लॉ के कुछ छात्र मौजूद हैं। हम उनसे बातचीत कर जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि आखिर सेक्शन 17A पे जो ये विवाद चल रहा है ये क्या है, सेक्शन 17A है क्या।
जी जो ये जजमेंट आया, फर्स्ट तो मैं 17A के बारे में जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि ये एक एक्ट है where if a public servant is accused of corruption, so that public servant, if any complaint is being registered against that, it has to first get a screening from other government officials so that they can decide if that particular public servant has to be, if any investigation has to be put or not. In my opinion, this particular the judgment which came today, the split verdict, although it will be challenged further by a bench of chief justice would hear it in later stage. But right now, if I have to talk about it, I feel it's very unconstitutional, this particular judgment, in my opinion, because if you are saying that a public servant, if they are accused of corruption, and first they will have to go through a government screening to see that if that there should be a complaint against them or not, then it can save a lot of big fishes, if we have to say. Because when we talk about corruption, just like any other grave crimes that surrounds India, like or something, and different terrorism, I think corruption is equally damaging to a country's conscience. And as we know, India is a very big victim of corruption. Corruption exists at every stage, from small, panchayat to big parliament offices and stuff. I'm not putting any blame on anyone, but if you will put something like this, that you will have to first go through a particular, you will have to first go to a particular government office. If you have to complain against anyone, you have to first get it screened to see that if it is necessary to be complained or not. Then it can save a lot of big politicians who might be a part of that particular corruption thing, right? And if you see it clearly, then it is a kind of, it is a amendment that came in 2018. It was not previously a part of PCA, the Prevention of Corruption Act. It came in 2018 as an amendment. So we need to understand that why was it put. There are two sides to it, that a public servant's image can be harmed by this, because if you just blankly put blame of corruption on anyone, it can harm their image as well. But we need to see the other side as well, that if you give this screening, it can save a lot of big fishes. So something in the middle should be put, so that the image of that public servant can be saved, and it should not be made a media trial or stuff kind of thing. And similarly, we should be putting some mechanism so that we can find that corruption is not spread in the country.
Nice. Before proceeding further with all this, I would like to take your first reaction on it or your opinion on what do you think about the judgment that has come today.
Sir, as we know that Section 17A has got a split judgment. One judge declared it unconstitutional and other one declared it perfectly valid. Now, I would like to draw your attention towards both the sides of it. First of all, let's talk about the positive sides of Section 17A. It encourages fearless governance. Now, what do you mean by fearless governance? Is that if a public servant acts bona fide, that means in good faith, he can do anything on his own intellect, so that if he does any good thing also, it should not be challenged or it should not be delayed by that act. Now it also encourages that public official with no record of crime or with no record of corruption should not be unnecessarily. So these are some of the positive aspects of that act. Now if you move towards the negative aspects, now suppose there's a government sponsored corruption going on. So why? It is a very common sense type of thing, that why would a government itself who is involved in the corruption would sanction the investigation authorities to go against their officials, to just expose them. So that is the main problem of it. Now, as my colleague rightly said, there should be some middle path towards it. Now, I would like to draw your attention towards the previous, issue related to this also. So there was a motion in the parliament that wanted that if a minister or if a prime minister or any minister of a state government ministers, if they are accused of any crime, so they can be removed from the office immediately. So this has also been gathering mixed reviews from all the people. Some people are declaring it positive and some people are declaring it negative. So as my colleague rightly pointed out, there should be some middle kind of solution to these types of problems, so that fearless governance should also not be challenged, bona fide actions should not also be delayed, and honest public officials should not also be and towards the same amount of time, if they find something suspicious, they should not be uh, you know um, going towards the offices and line in the to talk to the government officials to gain sanction for the investigation. So there should be some exception kind of power to the authorities. If they find something that is on the face of it prima facie suspicious, so they should have the power to investigate on that. But on the other hand also, they should not be honest public officials too.
कि मेरा यही है कि ग्रुप ऑफिशियल्स को हमको इसको बाहर रखना चाहिए, जो बाकी और जो निचले जितने भी अलग अलग पब्लिक सर्वेंट बोला गया उसके अंदर, तो उनको जो है यहाँ पे एक ये इम्यूनिटी मिलनी चाहिए। मेरा इस पे ये राय है।
चलिए अब हम थोड़ा इस मामले को ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे, वी विल गो स्टेटमेंट बाय स्टेटमेंट। और इफ आई हैव टू स्टार्ट, लेट्स सी व्हाट जस्टिस बीवी नागरत्ना हैज टू से ऑन दिस केस। ही डिक्लेयर्ड 17A अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल। ही सेड दैट द रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर प्रायर सैंक्शन एट द थ्रेशोल्ड स्टेज forecloses इंक्वायरी एंड प्रोटेक्ट्स द करप्ट। उनका ये मानना है कि अगर हमें अब परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी किसी से, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो करप्ट लोग हैं उनको एक बचाने का तरीका है। दिस में लाइक हैम्पर द इन्वेस्टिगेशन और दिस में हेल्प अ बिग फिश टू एस्केप। उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा कि द प्रोविजन इज कॉन्ट्ररी टू द कोर ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ PCA। यानी उनका कहना था कि ये प्रोविजन जो है दैट्स कम्प्लीटली वेरी लाइक कॉन्ट्ररी टू द द प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट का जो मेन मोटिव है, सेंस जो सोल है, उसके अगेंस्ट है। तो हाउ डू यू सी दीज स्टेटमेंट्स?
Yeah, I very well agree with what the justice said about this, and I was like thinking about this point only, that when we talk about things like when a particular act is named as prevention, let's say prevention of sexual harassment, POSH Act, and similarly prevention of corruption act. So when we put prevention in the beginning of it, if we see it by the jurisprudential side of it, like if a law is made, it has some meaning behind it, right? It has some thought behind it. So prevention is mostly seen that something grave can happen and we need to protect it. Similarly, let's say if I put an analogy here, that if we talk about prevention of if in those cases you will try to put screening like these, that okay, if a female is complaining about in their workplace, and if you will put the screening like this, it will be seen as an insensitive thing to do, right? There, the first act of the authority is to take the complaint and investigate over it. They don't get a chance to screen it somewhere, and then we will see that if we will keep that complaint or not, because this is a grave thing done in a thing. Similarly, as I said, corruption is a similarly grave danger, if not less or more, but it is similarly grave, and that is why Prevention of Corruption Act, when it was put in place, it was all the people who framed it, they kept this in mind, that it is a very grave thing to do, a corruption which damages the society and a nation's standing. It breaks the economical back of the nation, and if it is not stopped in a very by some strict rules, it will keep increasing. And I feel that this particular 17A, the amendment that was done in 2018, which allowed the sanction that it has to be screened somewhere first and then the complaint will be there. I think it is against the essence of this particular act.
एक बार मैं आपको बस कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे दूँ इस पूरी सुनवाई का कि आखिर ये सुनवाई हो क्यों रही थी। तो सुनवाई हो रही थी, एक लॉयर हैं और सोशल एक्टिविस्ट भी हैं, प्रशांत भूषण, आप सब उनको जानते होंगे। उनका एक NGO है, दैट्स सेंटर फॉर पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन, CPIL, जो कि जिसने सेक्शन 17A के खिलाफ एक PIL दायर की थी कोर्ट में, जिस पे सुनवाई होनी थी। हालांकि अभी तो स्प्लिट वर्डिक्ट आया है और ये मामला जो है अब चीफ जस्टिस सूर्यकांत की बेंच को रेफर कर दिया गया है। अब एक लार्जर बेंच का गठन होगा और ये एक लार्जर बेंच अब इस मामले में अपनी फाइनल जजमेंट देगी। हालांकि उसकी तारीख अभी मुकर्रर नहीं की है। वापस आते हैं मुद्दे पर। अब जो सपोर्टर्स हैं ऑफ सेक्शन 17A, उनका ये कहना है कि दिस या फिर ये जस्टिस KV विश्वनाथन ने भी यही कहा कि दिस सेक्शन protects the honest officers in undertaking their bona fide policies, their duty, they're discharging their duty honestly. और उनका ये भी कहना है कि कहीं ना कहीं just because somebody has filed a case against somebody, that doesn't make that person an accused or a culprit. So he or she should have a right to like fair trial or judgment. How do you see this statement?
I absolutely agree with you. Let me present a simple and a normal example to present this. For example, there is a construction of a road going on in which public officials are involved. So on the face of it, you see that the road quality is absolutely perfect. There's no potholes, or there are no other things that can depreciate the quality of the road. And still the till the time the construction is going, a third party who has enmity towards the public officials, and he deliberately files a case that there was corruption involved in the construction of the road. Now a normal people, a person with a prudent mind, can see that the road is perfectly constructed and the quality is absolutely good. So what filing the case might mean, it might delay the construction of the road, and ultimately the normal people, the normal public, will suffer from it. So prevention of corruption act does not necessarily mean that honest public officials who prima facie you can see that they are honest, they have no absolutely clean record, and you are delaying their work by malified cases. So I absolutely agree with what you said, that honest public officials with clean record, and if there's no suspicion towards their work, should not be unnecessarily.
अब आपने बात की थी हायर ऑफिशियल्स और जो निचले स्तर के पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स हैं। अब केवी विश्वनाथन ने एक और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशन दिया था। उनका ये कहना ये था कि अगर हम ये सेक्शन हटा देते हैं या फिर इसको अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल करार दे देते हैं, तो दिस कैन लीड टू सम पॉलिसी पैरालिसिस, क्योंकि लोग डरेंगे फिर डिसीजन लेने में। ऑफिशियल्स जो हैं दे विल बी स्केयर्ड टू अंडरटेक देयर ड्यूटी। आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं?
जैसे कि मैंने पहले बताया कि देयर इज अ सर्टेन पावर स्ट्रक्चर इन इंडिया, ठीक है। पॉलिटिशियंस आर दी मोस्ट पावरफुल, देन आफ्टर दैट ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, then judiciary and all. Bureaucracy and judiciary are equal by the length. Group A officials, highly IAS and IPS officers, and Group B, C, D, they have power negligible, in contrast to IAS and IPS officers. So when a person is a part of a criminal activity or a corrupt activity, then politicians and these big bureaucrats are part of it. The smaller ones are just a scapegoat like that. So that's why I mentioned earlier that Group A officials shall not be given any immunity from this, and other group officials shall be given the immunity of it, because there's a certain power structure. Because as citizens of India, we also in our day-to-day life have certain experiences like these, because the power structures of the society, they have edge over judiciary as well, bureaucracy as well, the entire process. That's why I mentioned earlier that Group A officials and other, there shall be certain hierarchy. और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि ये पूरी तरीके से गलत है 17 है, क्योंकि जो लाया भी गया है, क्योंकि इस पर साफ साफ लिखा हुआ है कि अगर पब्लिक सर्वेंट जो डिसीजन ले रहा है, जो रिकमेंडेशंस दे रहा है, अगर उसमें अगर कोई दायर करता है, क्योंकि अब करप्शन को रोकने के लिए कोई पब्लिक सर्वेंट कोई ना कोई डिसीजन तो लेगा ही। अब वो डिसीजन लेगा ही नहीं तो फिर काम कैसे होगा, वो केस आगे ऐसे बढ़ेगा। तो इसलिए डिसीजन लें और वो काम आगे बढ़े भी, तो इसलिए एक मिडल पाथ, जैसे कि मेरे भाई ने और भी बोला कि मिडल पाथ हमको लेना चाहिए। और मिडल पाथ जैसे और भी बड़े बड़े जूरिस्ट मिलकर और जुडिशरी के और लोग मिलकर, चाहे लेजिस्लेचर हो, ठीक है, ये सब मिलकर जो तय करेंगे तो बेहतर रास्ते की तरफ हम पहुंच सकते हैं।
मिडिल पाथ की बार बार बात आ रही है। मैं इस सवाल के बाद उसी पे आऊँगा, क्योंकि जस्टिस विश्वनाथन ने भी अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन में एक मिडिल पाथ की बात की है। बट बिफोर कमिंग टू दैट मिडिल पाथ, डू यू अग्री विद दिस स्टेटमेंट दैट abolition or declaring section 17A as unconstitutional may create or may lead to policy paralysis?
Yeah, it's a very strong argument in my opinion that if you will, if you will say that anyone can be trialed, any public servant can be trialed for corruption, and there won't be any screening. So this can lead to a lot of policy paralysis, and it can create a fear in the public servant in executing their duty. They might feel that okay, if I will do this, it can lead to a case, it will destroy my career and something, all that thing. So yeah, I do believe that the policy paralysis thing is like argument is a very strong argument in this case.
Now coming to the middle path that was suggested or observed by Justice KV Vishwanathan, he said that instead of taking or seeking permission from any of the government departments, if cases arises or if somebody files any criminal or corruption case against any government or public official, instead of going to any government department, the matter should be taken in front of a Lokpal or a Lokayukt. How do you see this judgment, or do you think that this can be the middle path that we're talking about?
uh, it does helps doing keeping a middle path thing in mind if you go to the Lokpal and you are like because it has some kind of I would say fairness, and it is not completely biased. If you go to the Lokpal, it does give some sense of the person who has done a corruption will be punished, and if an honest honest public servant is being accused of corruption, he or she will be saved if there is a Lokpal thing. I feel there is more equity when it comes to going through Lokpal instead of giving some government agencies like the ministry or some other ministry a power to do that, because there is chances that a big fish can be saved from all this.
Now हमने बात की पूरे इस जजमेंट पे. Now this matter will be listed in front of a larger bench under Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant. What do you guys think? What may come out of that judgment? Do you think that Section 17A should be declared unconstitutional, or should it be constitutionally valid? Some amendment should be made. What you guys think about it?
In my opinion, when the bench would decide over this, there's a lot of chances that it may be declared as unconstitutional, because in my what I feel is that the points which says that it is unconstitutional are more as compared to that it is constitutional. And but there are a lot of other things as well, if we keep in mind, like let's say this Article 21, right, which gives every person a right to life with dignity. And when we are talking about public servants being accused of corruption, dignity is a very big thing that is being violated in these particular things. So I think the bench will have to think a lot in through the jurisprudence aspect of these things, and they will have to go into depth of these cases, and they won't be giving judgment in a very simple way. They will have to go and read multiple things to come to come towards a particular judgment. And in my opinion, I feel that they will rule towards unconstitutional aspect of this particular 17A, and they would surely order or give some written order or something for a middle path for the government to make, so that both the things can be done. That the public servant is saved from being being saved from any kind of bad or an unfair trial, and similarly their image is not being thrown in open. And secondly, any big fish who is doing corruption, they get punished equally. But like it was said before, that when you were asking that why people have lost faith in the system, because we are since the independence we have come across multiple cases and multiple scenarios, multiple news, which shows us that the government agencies are not working in a very fair manner. Let's say for example, there is a raid done by ED. You kind of start making patterns that it has some relation to the state which they are doing it, and the state is not pro government, or the state is not having the party of the central government. Only those states are being targeted. And even if there is a politician who has a corruption charges, right, if they join a certain party, the corruption charges are removed. And we have multiple cases. You can just Google it and read about it, and you will see that this is some kind of pattern. So that is why this is one of the reason for having less faith in the system. And so that is why the 17A has more it has more value in, because how I'm thinking is that if the judges would be making a decision out of it, they will keep this in mind as well, that people's faith is also very big and it has been violated multiple times. So they will see this judgment in those lens as well. So that is what.
So, what are you expecting from the judgment that would be coming from the larger bench of Supreme Court?
Look, first of all, it's very difficult to predict what the final result would come out, because today itself we have seen that there are two complete opposite judgments. So I think not necessarily it might be declared unconstitutional, but there's a large chance of it being slightly amended, or there should be some amendments made by the court, so that it serves both principles. It also encourages fearless governance by honest public officials, and then on the same amount of time, it reduces the power of government to select on which employees are they want to conduct investigation or not, so that if a prima facie corruption charged official can also be tried by the court without seeking permission, or without seeking permission from the higher government officials. Now when in our country, when we look at the corruption, so it can't be denied that there's a huge amount of corruption going on. For example, the average salary of a member of parliament in India is about 1.5 lakhs and some 50-60,000 rupees extra allowances. I know 2 lakh rupees per month is a very good salary, but it is comfortable salary, not very lavish kind of salary. So when you look at the properties owned by those ministers and MPs with 2 lakh rupees salary, they are owning helicopters, they are owning private jets who are costing tens and hundreds of crores of rupees. So it is a prima facie example of how corruption is rooted deep inside our country, and I'm not blaming any party. So because these types of people are coming from every party. We have we have we have literally people convicted of cases and who are in the government, who are MPs, who are even ministers, and in every party they are. So that system should be ended, because that is a deep deep root of all that the country is suffering from.
दैट इज द क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. आप क्या सोचते हैं, आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के लार्जर बेंच के जजमेंट से?
देखिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो जजमेंट आने वाला है, जो आप कह रहे हैं लार्जर बेंच से, वो ये हो सकता है मेरी राय में कि ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल नहीं ठहराया जाएगा, और जो ये लोकायुक्त और इनकी बात करी गई है, शायद इसी पे मामला रहेगा।
तो ये सुनिए आपने लॉ छात्रों के व्यूज़, उनकी राय. उनका ये कहना है कि इस पूरे मामले में एक बीच का रास्ता निकालना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और उन्हें उम्मीद है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की लार्जर बेंच जब इस मुद्दे पर सुनवाई करेगी तो वो कोई बीच का रास्ता निकालेगी, जिससे जो ऑनेस्ट ऑफिसर्स है उनका मैलाफाइड हैरेसमेंट भी ना हो, उन पे अननेसेसरी उन्हें ट्रायल्स या अनफेयर ट्रायल्स का सामना ना करना पड़े. वहीं अगर कोई करप्ट, कोई बड़ी मछली है जो करप्शन के केसेस में फंसी है, और जो जेन्युइन इज़ अ करप्ट ऑफिशियल, ही शुड नॉट एस्केप. तो ये सुनिए आपने दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के लॉ के छात्रों की राय. अब आप हमें ज़रूर बताइएगा कि आप इस पूरे मामले में क्या सोचते हैं. हालांकि अब ये मामला जो है वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की एक लार्जर बेंच के सामने जाएगा, जिसकी अध्यक्षता खुद चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया सूर्यकांत करेंगे. अब उस मामले से क्या निकल कर सामने आता है वो भी हम आप तक पहुँचाएंगे. फिलहाल के लिए हमारी इस रिपोर्ट में इतना ही. कैमरा पर्सनल सुशील कुमार के साथ मैं प्रमोद तिवारी, दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय दिल्ली, दी एज.